Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good morning and Assalamu alaikum. I hope you all are fine. I am Razna and today I am here to give you computer lecture number 1 on chapter 1, the evolution of computer. This chapter is on page number 2 till page number 11 in your books Write by 1. Starting with the chapter outline. In this chapter we are going to discuss how computer process data, the electronic computer, types of computing devices, computers according to sizes. The world has been revolutionized since the introduction of computers, and what was once science fiction has now become the reality. The world has been changed by the introduction of computer. The amazing word computers open up a magical world for us, a world of solutions, speed, control, information and communication. By the use of computer, we can communicate with each other, we can find solution to our problems, we can store information, we can control different things. So computer has totally changed our lives. What is a computer? It is an automatic, electronic and a data processing system. An automatic machine, an electronic machine means the machine which basically runs through electricity, and it is a data processing system mean it is a device which is used for data processing. They are found in many areas of our lives. They are used among other things for storing information, controlling traffic and entertainment. Computers can also be used for storing, for controlling information, for entertainment purposes, like for you basically play different video games on your computer. So this is how computer is used for entertainment purposes. Starting with the topic how computer process data. So the first block, you can see here input is written. Input is what we give to the computer. Output is what we receive from the computer. So we can give input to the computer using the input device. A computer receives input in the form of raw data. Raw data means any type of data through the input devices. Input devices are the keyboard and mouse. Using our keyboard and mouse, we give data to the computer. Then computer will process the data by changing it into an understandable form. Then the computer then present that information to the end user on the screen, and that is known as output. Suppose I have two numbers and I want to add the two numbers 2 and 3. 2 and 3 will be my data. Now I have to add them. The addition would be the processing which will be done by the computer, and the result, which is 5, is shown on the monitor screen, is done by the computer, which is known as a output. So first we have to provide input to the computer using our input device like keyboard, mouse, and then computer will process that data and will give us output in the form of result. So these are the 3 steps for computer to process data. First input, then processing, and then output. Earlier computing devices, the devices which were used before computers, before the introduction of computers, the devices which were used, we are going to discuss the devices now. First device was the abacus. It is the earliest calculator. Here you can see the abacus. Its structure, it has beads that are moved across the wires or string. You can see here these are the beads and these are the wires. Its function, it is used to add and subtract the numbers. It helps us to achieve accuracy in calculation. So this device was used for addition and subtraction in older days. The next device is the Napier board. Basically these are the calculating devices, mean these devices were used for calculation purposes. In 1670, John Napier John Napier, who invented a system called Napier-Bones. So this is the Napier-Bones structure. It consists of set of rods with the number written on them. So you can see these are rods and numbers are written on it. So what will be the function of Napier-Bone? It is used to multiply and divide number, as it is a calculating device, a computing device. So it was used for multiplication and division purpose. Next, the Pascal line. In 1642, Blaise Pascal developed the first mechanical calculator called Pascal line, and here you can see it. It was operated by wheels. Function, it could add and subtract the numbers. So basically the purpose of Pascal line was for addition and subtraction. Next, the Leibniz calculator. Gottfried Leibniz, who was the inventor of this Leibniz calculator, he invented this Leibniz calculator in 1694. It was operated by wheels. We have studied before that Pascal line was also operated by wheels. It means these were similar in structure. These both were Leibniz and Pascal line. They both were operated by the wheels, but their functions are different. Pascal line was used for addition and subtraction. But now we will see the purpose of Leibniz calculator. It is used to add and subtract number, but it could also multiply and divide number. So 4 functions are performed by Leibniz calculator: addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Punch card. Punch card were developed by Joseph Jacquard in 1801. It is basically a strip of card with the holes punched in it. You can see here it is like a strip of card and holes are also present in this card. For what is the function of this punch card? It were used to program or give instructions to the computer. On this strip of card, on this punch card, instructions were written which were used for controlling the computer. Charles Babbage. He is known as the father of modern digital computer. In the 19th century, he designed 2 machines called the difference engine and the analytical engine, and this is the difference engine. He used punch cards to give instructions to the analytical engine. Like we have studied before that punch cards were used to give instructions to the computer. So Charles Babbage also used these punch cards to give instructions to the analytical engine. Lady Ada Lovelace is also known as the first programmer. Hermann Hollerith. He was also a scientist. In 1890, Hermann Hollerith developed a tabulating machine. He used punch cards to give instructions to it and to store data. This tabulating machine was used to sort and count the census data. Basically, this device was used for sorting and for counting the census data. What is census? Here it is written: add-on. First, you should know that add-ons are very much important for your exam point of view, and basically this is the informative part. A census is a count of country's population. To count the country's population, a census is conducted in any country. The last census in Pakistan was carried out in 1998. So this Hermann Hollerith developed their machine, tabulating machine. The basic purpose of tabulating machine were used to sort and to count the census data. Electronic computer. In 20th century, computers were using electric power to process information. These computers developed more rapidly than the earlier computing devices. The present computers, they are developed more rapidly. They are much more faster than the previous earlier computer devices which we have studied. Now moving towards our next topic, that is generations of computer. We have 5 generations of computers. First generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation, and fifth generation. Generation means the specific time period, the time period in which the first generation of computers were introduced. Then comes the second generation, the time period when other computers were introduced with some different features than the first generation. Likewise, in the third generation, in that time period, some more computers were introduced which were much better than the second generation of computer. Likewise, fourth and fifth generation. Starting with the first generation of computer. The first generation computer, the time period started from 1942 till 1955. In this time period, the computers which were introduced are known as the first generation. So, first generation computer uses the vacuum tube, and here is the vacuum tube. It basically consists of a glass bulb and a wire. These computers were very large, made many mistakes. So you can see here, these are the first generation computer. They are very much large in size. As they are large in size, so they produce a lot of heat, and because of their large size, they are difficult to move from one place to another. ENIAC, Electronic Numerical Integrator and Calculator. It was the first generation computer. Some other computers of the first generation are EDVAC and EDSAC. Moving towards the second generation computer, the second generation started from 1956 till 1964. This generation of computer uses transistors. These are the transistors. So these are the devices which were used in the second generation computer. In the first generation computer, we have studied about the vacuum tubes. So we can say that vacuums were replaced by the transistors. Why we have replaced the vacuum tube with the transistor in second generation of computer? Because transistor can carry much more electric current than a vacuum tube. Transistor work much more properly than the vacuum tubes. So these computers were smaller and faster. You can see here that second generation computer are smaller than the first generation computer. They were also cheaper, more reliable, and produce less heat than the first generation of computer. So you have to remember these dates. You have to remember this device. Third generation of computer. Third generation of computer started from 1965 till 1975. It uses integrated circuit. So in second generation, what was the device which was used? That was the transistor. In third generation, integrated circuits are used. It's mean these are the integrated circuit. It's mean transistors were replaced by the integrated circuit in third generation. As we move on further, we can see the devices would also be improved, and because of these devices, our performance of the computer also improved. That's why we have replaced vacuum tube with the transistor, then transistor were replaced with the integrated circuit, because integrated circuit work much more faster than the transistor. It is as small as transistor, but it can work as fast as thousands of them. So this single integrated circuit work faster than thousands of transistors. That's why we have replaced transistor with the integrated circuit in third generation. These computers were smaller, faster, and cheaper. They used less electricity and made fewer mistakes than the second generation computer. Moving towards the fourth generation computer that started on 1975 till onward, fourth generation continues. It uses the microprocessor. This is the microprocessor. It contains a small silicon chip. You can see there is a small silicon chip on which thousands of circuits are placed or printed. This small device, small silicon chip, basically controls the working of your computer. Whole working of your computer is controlled by this small chip. It's mean it is a powerful device. It's a powerful chip. That's why integrated circuits are replaced by the microprocessor in fourth generation. These computers were smaller, portable, reliable, and cheaper. They use less electricity and produce less heat. Smart devices uses microcontroller. Microcontroller is another name of microprocessor and are known as the dedicated computer. Some smart devices which use the microprocessor, they are known as the dedicated computers, like your microwave oven, like your ACs. These include the microcontrollers. Fifth generation of computer, that is the future, but you can say it is our present also, because technology is very much fast. Nowadays fifth generation is present, and fifth generation is basically used in robots. So in international countries, robots are used. In fifth generation, it uses artificial intelligence. Artificial means made by man. Intelligence means the intelligence which would be made by man and will be fitted into some machine. Artificial intelligence is basically the ability of computer to think like human beings, to make a computer to think like human beings. We design our computer so that it can think like human beings, it can work like human beings, and you can say our robots basically work on artificial intelligence. These computers are used for accepting instruction given through the voice messages. We control our robot, human control the robot. So robots are designed by artificial intelligence. They help in recognizing the objects, weather forecasting. So fifth generation computer are also used for weather forecasting. Weather forecasting mean for predicting the weather, for recognizing the objects also. Add-on. The second add-on, I have previously told you that add-ons are very much important. It is an informative point, so you have to remember these points also. Deep Blue, a supercomputer, was an intelligent computer that beat the world chess champion Garry Kasparov in 1997. Deep Blue was an intelligent computer and it was used for the world chess champion. Next, type of computing devices. We have two types of computing devices, analog device and the digital device. Analog devices. Devices that process analog data are called the analog devices. It has continuous values. Continuous mean in one go, not in steps. It is used for measuring quantities like length, weight and time. So this is an analog watch. You can see here from 12 till 1 you consider 5 minutes, from 1 till 2 you consider 5 minutes. So basically 5 minutes gap. So this is a continuous data. So analog devices are basically used for measuring the weight, length and time. Analog clocks, weighing scales and thermometer, these are all analog devices. Digital devices. Devices that process digital data are called digital devices. You can see here this is a digital watch. Digital data is discrete and analog data was continuous. Discrete means not continuous. It is used to count or measure things in steps. You can see here this is 10:58. The digital clock will show you about then 10:59 mean the next minute, that would be 10:59. So digital data is discrete. It basically gives you the data in discrete form, in the step form. Digital clocks, traffic lights, calculators, digital thermometers, these are the example of digital devices. Computers according to the sizes. Computers vary according to their sizes. We have different types of computer and they vary according to their size. First we have the supercomputer, then we have the mainframe computer, then mini computer and then microcomputer. Supercomputer, they are the most complex computer. You can see here they are larger in size. They are one of the most complex computers. They are basically used for high computing capacities and speed. For complex calculations they are used. They are placed in the special air conditioned room. You can see they are big in size, so they will produce more heat, so they are placed in air conditioned rooms. They are used by the people who need to process complex data. Example, automotive engineers, the engineers who design the cars, the aeroplane wings. So the complex data for finding the complex measurements, these computers are used. These computers are also used for weather forecasting. Weather forecasting means for predicting the weather. Next are mainframe computer. They are large and expensive. They have powerful processor and very large memories. They are used in large banks, airlines and universities. You can see here these are our mainframe computer. Hundreds of users can work at a mainframe at the same time. Mini computer. These are smaller and cheaper than the mainframe. Now we are moving in a comparison form. First, our supercomputer, they were very large. Then the mainframe, they were a bit smaller than the supercomputer. Then mini computer, they are much smaller than the mainframe computer. They have less processing power. They are used in businesses, colleges, banks and libraries. And one more thing, that fewer people can work on mini computer. But we have studied that on mainframe, hundred of users can work at mainframe at the same time, and you can see it is larger in size than the mini computer. Microcomputer. They are smaller and cheaper than the mini computers. You can see here our microcomputer are much smaller than these mini computers. They are used by small businesses, schools and in homes. In our homes we have the microcomputers, in our school labs we have microcomputer, in our offices we have microcomputers. They are used by single user. Only one user can work on these microcomputer. That's why they are known as desktop computer or personal computer, PCs. They come in different shapes and sizes. Example, laptop computers, smartphones and etc. Basically microcomputers vary in shape and sizes. So microcomputer also includes some laptop computers, smartphone, tablets. So laptop computers, smartphone, tablets, they all come under the microcomputers. Starting with the laptop computer. They are also called as notebook computer and are smaller than the desktop computer. You can see this laptop computer is look like a notebook, but they are much more smaller than the desktop computer. This is our desktop computer and this is our notebook computer. They consist of a keyboard, monitor, processor and storage device built into a single case. Mean we have its keyboard, mouse, but all are built in. And in your desktop computer you can see we have a separate CPU, we have a separate keyboard, separate mouse and a separate monitor. But in case of our desktop computer, all these things are built into a single case. That's why these laptop computers, they are much more expensive than the desktop computer. They are also lighter and they can be powered by a battery. You all know that laptop consists of a battery, but the microcomputer or desktop computer which run through the electricity, they does not contain any battery. Smartphone and tablet computer. They run a variety of software applications. You have smartphones and tablets at your home. You have installed many applications like you have WhatsApp, Play Store, Skype, Instagram, Facebook, and you can use all of these applications for communication purpose, for networking purpose, for entertainment purpose. These are based on touchscreen. You all know that your smartphones and tablets, they are touchscreen along with the gesture control. Your smartphones are also controlled through your gesture. You have a fingerprint lock, you have a face indicator lock. So these are all your gestures. Means your devices are controlled through your gestures, either your fingerprint, either your face recognition. These are all your gestures. Embedded computer. It is a microprocessor that is fitted into a device to control its operation. Microprocessor is also an embedded computer. Microcontrollers are known as embedded computer. When does the microcontroller are known as embedded computer? when they are basically tiny specialized microprocessor installed in the smart appliances. When these microcontrollers are installed in the smart appliances, then they are known as embedded computers. They are also known as dedicated computers. These are different name of this embedded computer, dedicated computers, right? Embedded computers can work only on specific devices and are known as dedicated computer. These are like the microprocessor, like it is a small silicon chip, so each device has its own specific chip. Like microwave oven has its own embedded computer, microwave oven has its own microcontroller device which will only work in microwave oven. Microwave oven microcontroller will not work in the AC microcontroller. So every specific device has its own embedded computer, means every specific device would have its own microprocessor, have its own chip for its working. That basically on this chip microprocessor, some instructions are written for controlling the device. For controlling the microwave oven, its instruction would be written on it for controlling its heat and temperature, and that chip would not work in the AC, and the AC microchip would not work in the microwave oven. So that's why they can work on specific devices. Each device would have its own embedded computer and they are known as dedicated computer. The places where computers are used in many places. First, there is written banks. Banks use computer to keep track of their clients' money. Banks will use computer for maintaining their customer data, their money and their transactions. All these things will be stored in the computer. Businesses either small or larger, they use word processor, database and spreadsheet. In businesses we have to make different types of letters, different types of files, documents, and for these we use the computers. Factories, they also use computers. Factory use computerized robots to assemble items such as cars and televisions. In factories we use different types of robots for carrying the data, for moving the data. So for controlling that the robots, we use the computer. Entertainment companies uses computer to create cartoon and special effects on the TV. So entertainment companies basically use computers for creating these animations, TV cartoons and etc. Advertising companies, these advertising companies basically use computer graphics to create colorful advertisement, magazines, newspapers. These all are created using the computers. Medical professionals, they also use computer. They use computer for treatment, for research and producing x-rays. All these things are done through computers. Law enforcement agencies, they also uses computer. They use computer to track down the criminal record, to find out the criminal histories and to track their criminal also. And here our chapter is ended. You have to read the chapter carefully. You have to mark the important points on your book and you have to use pencil on your book. No pen is allowed on your book. You have to understand the chapter well. You have to learn the chapter by heart. And here our chapter is ended. Inshallah, we will meet for the next lecture when we will do the exercise question. And up till then, thank you.